It was the first week of the new term at Oakwood High, a prestigious boarding school in Lagos, Nigeria. Amarachi, a shy 15-year-old, had just arrived to begin her sophomore year. As she unpacked her belongings in the dimly lit dormitory, her roommate, Tari, regaled her with tales of Madame Koi Koi, the infamous ghost that haunted the school. "They say she was a teacher here who died tragically after a student prank went wrong," Tari whispered excitedly. "Now her ghost roams the halls at night, looking for revenge." Amarachi gulped nervously. She had heard the stories before, but being here in person made them feel much more real. That night, as she lay in bed, she thought she heard the faint click of heels in the hallway. Shaking, she pulled her covers over her head and tried to sleep. The next day, Amarachi was distracted in class, yawning as the new teacher, Mrs. Adebayo, droned on about algebra. Suddenly, the classroom door flew open with a bang. There in the doorway stood a beautiful woman in a red dress and matching heels. Her face was obscured by a veil, but Amarachi could feel her piercing gaze. "Who dares summon me?" a voice whispered, sending chills down everyone's spine. The woman stepped forward, her heels making the distinct koi koi sound. Amarachi's heart raced as she realized it was Madame Koi Koi. The ghost glided down the aisle, her eyes fixed on Amarachi. "You," she hissed. "You called me here?" Amarachi shrank back in her seat, terrified. What did the ghost want with her? After class, Amarachi confided in Tari about her encounter. "I didn't summon her, I swear," she cried. "But she seemed to be looking for me specifically." "This is bad," Tari said gravely. "Madame Koi Koi doesn't appear to just anyone. You must have done something to anger her in a past life." Amarachi spent the next few days on edge, jumping at every sound. She avoided going out alone at night, sticking close to Tari and the other girls. But one evening, she realized she had left her math textbook in the library. Reluctantly, she set out alone. The library was dark and deserted. Amarachi hurried to the back, searching the shelves. As she turned to leave, she froze. There, at the end of the aisle, stood Madame Koi Koi. Her red heels clicked menacingly as she approached. "You cannot hide from me, child," the ghost hissed. "I know your secret." Amarachi's mind raced. What secret could the ghost be talking about? Suddenly, it hit her. Last year, she had accidentally knocked over a display of trophies, damaging one beyond repair. She had tried to cover it up, but the guilt had eaten away at her. Could Madame Koi Koi somehow know about that? I am sorry," Amarachi stammered. "It was an accident, I swear." But the ghost only laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the library. "Apologies mean nothing to me," she said. "You must pay for your crime." She reached out a bony hand, and Amarachi felt an icy grip on her arm. Panicked, she did the only thing she could think of, she screamed. The next morning, Amarachi woke up in the nurse's office, shaken but unharmed. Tari and Mrs. Adebayo were at her bedside, looking relieved. "What happened?" Amarachi asked groggily. Tari explained that a security guard had heard her scream and found her unconscious in the library. The ghost had vanished. Mrs. Adebayo looked at Amarachi sternly. "Amarachi, I know you've been through a terrible ordeal. But I must ask, did you have anything to do with the missing trophy last year?" Amarachi's heart sank. She had been dreading this moment. Slowly, she nodded. "I'm so sorry," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I was afraid of getting in trouble, so I hid it. But I never meant for anyone to get hurt." Mrs. Adebayo sighed. "I understand, child. But you must take responsibility for your actions. Come with me to the principal's office." As Amarachi followed the teacher, she couldn't help but wonder, was Madame Koi Koi finally satisfied? Or would the ghost continue to haunt her, a constant reminder of the mistake she had tried so hard to forget? Days turned into weeks, and the haunting continued. Amarachi began to notice strange occurrences around the school. Doors creaked open on their own, whispers echoed in the hallways, and shadows danced just out of sight. The other students began to whisper about her, convinced that her connection to Madame Koi Koi was the reason for the disturbances. One night, while the students gathered for a study session, Amarachi overheard a group discussing a plan to confront the ghost. "We need to find out what she wants," one girl, Chika, insisted. "If we can help her, maybe she'll leave us alone." Amarachi felt a mix of fear and curiosity. "What if she doesn't want help?" she whispered to Tari, who sat beside her, biting her lip in thought. "We can't keep living in fear," Tari replied. "If we don't act, it might get worse." That night, they gathered in the courtyard, the moon casting an eerie glow over the school. Chika led the group, her voice steady. "We need to summon Madame Koi Koi. We'll ask her what she wants." Amarachi hesitated but felt a surge of determination. "I'll do it," she said, surprising herself. "I need to face this." As the group formed a circle, Amarachi closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "Madame Koi Koi, if you can hear me, please show yourself," she called out, her voice trembling. For a moment, silence enveloped them, and then the air grew cold. The unmistakable sound of clicking heels echoed through the courtyard. The ghost appeared, her face still hidden beneath the veil. "You dare summon me," she hissed, her voice like ice. Amarachi stepped forward, her heart pounding. "We want to help you. What do you need?" Madame Koi Koi paused, her expression unreadable. "Help. You think you can help me," she scoffed. "You have no idea of the pain I carry." Amarachi felt a wave of empathy. "Please, tell us what we can do," she urged. "We want to understand." The ghost's demeanor shifted slightly. "Long ago, I lost my life because of betrayal. A student lied about me, and I was punished for her crime. I seek justice, not vengeance." Amarachi's heart raced. What if we find the truth? What if we uncover the real story? Madame Koi Koi's eyes glimmered with a flicker of hope. "If you can find the one who wronged me, perhaps I can find peace." The group exchanged determined glances. They had a mission now, a chance to free Amarachi from the ghost hunting. Over the next few weeks, they delved into the school's archives, searching for records of Madame Koi Koi's past. They interviewed teachers and students, piecing together the fragments of her story. Each revelation brought them closer to the truth. Finally, they discovered a hidden letter in the archives, revealing that a student had confessed to the principal about the prank that led to Madame Koi Koi's tragic accident. The student had lied to save herself, and the truth had been buried for years. With this evidence in hand, Amarachi and her friends approached the principal. "We have proved that Madame Koi Koi was wronged," Amarachi said, her voice steady. "She deserves justice." The principal listened intently, and after a thorough investigation, the school acknowledged the truth. A memorial was held for Madame Koi Koi, honoring her sacrifice and acknowledging the injustice she had faced. That night, as Amarachi lay in bed, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. The haunting had ceased, and she could finally sleep peacefully. She had faced her fears, uncovered the truth, and helped a lost soul find peace. As she drifted off to sleep, she heard a faint whisper in the wind, "Thank you." Amarachi smiled, knowing that she had made a difference, not just for herself, but for Madame Koi Koi as well.